Welcome back, guys. Down at the Homestead, October 14th. Blake and I are set up, and I wanted to give a recap over some of the recent hunts that we've had here recently, because we haven't been kicking out the daily vlogs because it has just been so slow here for hunting. And so I just want to recap some of those hunts because we did have a couple cool moments, and every time we're down here on the Homestead, we're taking a piece of information with us and putting it in the back of our mind and continuing to figure this place out. But back on October 10th, we actually set this exact same stand that we are tonight. Pretty tough conditions, warm, variable winds. I think when we were down here in the stand that night, the wind was out of every single direction. We didn't have any deer in the plot, and then we saw a few does off in the distance right on the edge of the beans, and that was really it that night, which that was pretty disappointing. I'm hoping, just hunting these green food sources, green to grain transition, I thought we would have had something at least in the plot. Following that, we went out on Sunday, and first sustained wind conditions that we've had really the entire month that I've been able to hunt. There was a couple cold fronts in there early that I wasn't able to capitalize on and get out, but on the 12th, we went and we actually hung a set that night. We did a hanging hunt on the walnut plot, and that's a stand location that originally I didn't think I'd spend a ton of time hunting out there. And the reason I say that is that you do have to be a little bit more strategic on how you're accessing that spot. So that's why I specifically went in that day on the sustained winds, lots of activity going on as far as brush movement. It was forecasted to be 20 mile an hour winds. I think there was probably times where it was 25, 35, mile an hour winds where it was pretty gusty. So we were able to get that stand in the tree, and we actually had that as a permanent set now. So the only thing we have to bring with us is our muddy quick sticks, and we can go right up that tree. I do like that spot. It's set up in a location where really any south wind, thermal morning potentially would be an option, but there's a ditch right off to the north of it, and I feel like it's really going to pull a lot of the wind down into that ditch, and I think it's going to hunt well. I think it's I don't know that I would pick that over the ditch pinch plot that's just off to its west, but it is a good spot. I do think we'll spend some time where that Cuddeback that's up there has been really, really active. The clover in that plot has done well, so that seems to be something that they're keying in on. But it also just seems like deer wanting to congregate up there. So I'm just trying to make mental notes of that. And I guess as far as our plan and, as far as my early theme of the season is just, it's been hot, conditions have been slow, and I've been really working through learning this property, playing it probably safer than what I've done in the past. I'm trying to learn from past experiences, especially on a new farm, and hunt outside and work my way in. All the stand locations we've been hunting are really easy access in and out, which is just as important. And I've been trying to really do that. And, so when we talk about some of these hunts that we've been having being so slow, I know as I sit here, the best stand locations, in my opinion, for what I know right now on this farm, I haven't even touched yet. We haven't been over there. We haven't spent any time over there. So as we get farther in the month of October, that's something that we're really going to start keying in on. And hopefully it follows with more deer movement too, because I think that's something we've been battling really hard here, especially over the last 2 weeks, is that the farms to the north have cut corn on them, and it just seems like in the evening we're not seeing as many deer as what we were before that. As soon as that corn came off, those deer are really keen on that waste grain up there. So hopefully in the future years we're going to have more green food sources, and what I mean by that is alfalfa and clovers on the farm, where this early part of October we can maybe capitalize on that a little bit better. Or if our crop rotation does have corn, that's something that can really change the pattern and ability of these deer. But we're in here tonight, hopefully that things continue to get better. I would just say, if you guys are hunting right now, warm conditions here in the Midwest, just continue to pick your spots. When you can get out, do it. Take every opportunity you can to get in the outdoors, but just be mindful of every time you go in there, you're leaving a piece of you, when you're going in there too. So be mindful of your access in and out. I think that's really important. And then continue to hunt those green to grain food sources. And if you do have, any areas that have a water hole adjacent to them, those are going to be good locations this time of the year too. So I'm hopeful that the conditions and the hunting will continue to pick up. It feels good tonight. It really does. I feel like this might be the first night where we're actually in the game and maybe lay eyes on another buck tonight. I'm really hopeful that we can just take a step forward tonight and see some better movement. It's 5:20 right now, and we actually did have something that was pretty cool happen. Blake and I were actually in the midst of laughing about Kane Gillette's boys and the recovery and talking about some footage and stuff, and we look out and we didn't really see him until he had seen us, but there was a bobcat that came into the plot. It happened pretty quick. They're such a cool animal that they're just so skittish, and I think they're a little bit more common in this area than what we think they are, but I don't know that I've had one on trail camera down here yet, so that's always cool to see. And I imagine they were just kind of sneaking their way through the food plot, trying to find an easy meal. As we've been sitting here, the corn on the neighbor's property just started to get harvested, and it's not a very big field, and there's some activity up north. I talked about the neighbor up there is burning some brush piles and banging on something up there, so maybe we have this little piece of a pie right in between those things where we could get a little bit of deer movement. But that is definitely noteworthy though, having that corn come out, because we've sat a lot of spots where we can see visibility with the deer going up to that corn. Even just on Sunday night when we sat over in the walnut plot, we watched deer go up to the corn. It seems like every time we sit here, they're coming or going to that location up there. So I think that could help us tonight, and potentially probably help us more a few nights from now. A lot of times it'll take them a little while to figure out that corn's out there. So unless they're in close proximity, they can hear the machinery going in and out, ringing that dinner bell. Not really a good way to sugarcoat tonight, guys. Tonight was a little bit of a gut punch. It really was. Conditions felt pretty darn good, and to only see 2 does like that was a pretty tough one. It's still early October, but anytime you have these hunts like tonight where it just feels so good. I mean, another consistent wind. Granted, it's an east wind, but it was consistent the entire night. Feels like those are the same 2 does, that doe and fawn that we've seen a few times now, because it's not a very big doe. The trail cameras are telling us they're here. We're trying to go off that intel best we can. It's still early season. We haven't had a ton of, these big cold fronts or big triggers, switching winds or anything like that to be like, stuff that we're really keying in on. But tonight felt good. It felt like fall. It felt cold. Like I'm sure Blake felt cold at some point in time, because it definitely got chilly tonight. So we'll go back to the drawing board. I think something I want to plan on doing here in the next couple days is I want to get out here and, we got rain forecasted. Try to take advantage of that and maybe just move a few cameras just one more time leading into the end of October here. I love the end of October, love that Halloween time frame. Move a few cameras around, a few different locations, a couple spots down here in the farm that I haven't really run cameras at all yet. I'd like to be able to do that, especially coming into the rut. So tough one tonight. We'll go home and lick our wounds tonight, get something to eat, and we'll be back at it later this week. Appreciate you guys.